Pages, Jones, Blackstone, and Fagan. Hello, Kate. Today, a free throw contest. A blowout. Another buzzer beater on the ice. And when your son hits a home run in his first career pitch, but your video is kind of shaky.
Wow.
How great a moment was this? They were all in panoramic. I think we can praise that, right? The back pages have spoken. People of your ilk have hot takings. And by people of your ilk, I mean you, Woody Page. Tom Brady's dad says frame gate. Tom Brady's agent, Don Yee's statement right there on the screen for you to read. Report had significant and tragic flaws. Doesn't understand the culture of the sport. Brady's complete testimony did not make it in. More probable than not, the league cooperated with the Colts in a sting. Sad day for the league. Woody, what do you think of the statement from Brady's camp?
Well, what do you expect? They're going to defend him, especially his father. He's going to say he's being framed by the NFL. Do you think the NFL really wants to frame the face of the entire league? And that's what he's become after winning the championship. I got exactly what I expected. And after I read that, I went through and looked at all the footnotes because his agent kept talking about the footnotes. The footnotes just followed exactly what everything else in there said. There was a preponderance of evidence that Tom Brady did something wrong. And the reason why they used more probably than not is because that's in the integrity rules of the NFL. They were making sure if this were a court of law in a legal case, maybe not strong enough, but in a civil case, the preponderance of the evidence.
And you said you got exactly what you expected, and you also said yesterday you think that means a season-long suspension for Tom Brady.
Happened to Sean Payton and the general manager of the Saints. It's happened to guys who gamble on games. It's happened before. A text message earns 4 games. I think 10 games will probably end up being what it is.
Well, Tom Brady's agent kept focusing on that sting. Like, I didn't know that Marion Barry was a sports agent. Like, even if you got stung because you were up to something. You got caught. Like, the point of how they did it, I understand. I wouldn't want anybody running a sting on me either, but it doesn't change what the conclusions were that we ultimately got to. I don't care so much about whether they work with the Colts or not in this. I do think there's going to be some level of suspension for Tom Brady. I would think 2 games on my end, but I'm not Roger Goodell, which is to say I'm not the guy who feels like Tom Brady tried to evade the process. If old Rod is showing us anything, the thing that he hates above all else is people not bowing to his authority, and it seems like they feel Tom Brady didn't do that.
Blackstone?
Yeah, Tom Brady did get caught, but I thought that his camp made some interesting observations. I mean, after all, if this was about the integrity of the game and they were tipped off about this before the game, then why not investigate and take care of the matter right there? You're just talking about PSI and some footballs. Instead, they let it go ahead. Walt Anderson, the ref, admitted this was the first time in forever that he could remember that he somehow lost control of the footballs. So there's a lot of shaky stuff going on here. And as far as what to do with Tom Brady and the Patriots going forward in terms of penalty. The other day I said a fine, but Jared Bell at USA Today I thought made a very convincing argument for some sort of suspension.
So you've been swayed a little bit here over the last
I have just because of the fact that as Woody alluded to, text messages cost a front office person a 4-game suspension, so there should be some sort of suspension.
And Kate, you?
The idea that Tom Brady would get 10 games, that's what he suggested, or a full season is ludicrous, right? Greg Hardy got 10 games. Sean Payton got the full season, but that was about head hunting. Those two things the NFL is not going to want to correlate. They're not going to want to suspend Brady 10 games and have that correlate to Greg Hardy's 10 games. Exactly. Now, do I think he will get some games? I'm with Bo. I think 2 games. I think possibly a fine. But my concern here is the edited, curated nature of this report. I want to read an unedited transcript of what Tom Brady said. Let us, as NFL reporters and NFL fans, be able to read what he said and what he sat down and said to these investigators.
Okay, Woody Page, you want to respond to what Kate just said?
Yeah, Kate, let me help you out. Where does the name Deflategate come from? Watergate. It was not about the act. It was about the cover-up, and that's what we've seen throughout this. That's why I'm commanding that there be a full-year suspension, because Tom Brady didn't say anything. He denied in his press conference even knowing these people. He denied anything, he said. I don't know anything. That's what you're going to find out.
What about the thought here that Goodell is kind of waiting here before making a ruling here to see how public opinion plays out? Bo, you want to address that?
He makes everything up as he goes along. That's why we have to take this so damn seriously now, because it first came up and like, oh man, I got to take this seriously. They have no idea what to do with this. He's going to see how we feel and then go on about his business.
We've been horn. We'll move on. Basketball now, and how the Rockets beat the Clippers last night. Yes, Doc Rivers was by shooting 117 free throws. Houston for the game, 42 of 64. LA, 25 of 32. It's like this game was played at the local Knights of Columbus Hall, Bomani. Is it fair to question the free throw disparity?
Well, I don't know if you question the disparity, because the Clippers shot 32 free throws themselves, which is a lot. They did some intentional fouling. They were trying to put Dwight Howard on the line, and they're playing against James Harden, and James Harden is magnetically attracted to the free throw line. So I don't think the disparity is the issue. I do think it's worth noting, separate from the competition, that's a hard game to watch when you're shooting upwards of 90 free throws in a regulation game. These things are happening, and this series is going to happen more and more because those guys can't shoot free throws and they're going to get hacked.
Blackstone.
Well, 64 free throws in the game is an awful lot of free throws. Absolutely no question about that. But also let me point out 21 of those were by Dwight Howard, who isn't quite Steve Kerr at the free throw line. And not only that, the real problem was that James Harden came off the bench in the third quarter, and in the fourth quarter got half of his 32 points. They found no way to stop that guy. So there were a lot of other issues here just in 64 free throws.
Kate Fagan.
Yeah, Howard and James Harden combined, right? Dwight shot 21, Harden shot 15. That's 36 of the free throws right there. And guess what? That's the Rockets' game plan. It may be cynical, but they get to the free throw line. They shoot threes and they get to the free throw line. So should we be surprised, and is it unfair if they are driving to the hoop and getting to the free throw line? I don't think so.
Paige.
Here's the point to remember. Blake Griffin had his best half of playoff basketball. In the second half, he drove to the basket only 4 times. If you're not going to go to the basket, you're not going to go to the free throw line. And after Barnes trash talked Harden's mother, we know that Harden's going to go out and have a great second half.
I was wondering if anybody was going to bring that up. So you think there's a little bit of a fuel to the fire here.
Hey, he got to catch a flagrant one for that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. 96 total free throws in Game 2, over under 50 in Game 3. We'll see what happens. Then there was LeBron playing angry last night, playing fast. The total blowout Cleveland had against Chicago. Did LeBron and the Cavs figure something out last night, KB?
Well, they figured out something. They figured out LeBron was the best player on the planet Earth. He remembered that, and all of a sudden played like that, as a lot of people suspected he might. And they also played better defense, and give some credit to the coach. Changed up his lineup a little bit. People didn't think he was really coaching his team.
So that's what you think it came down to, though. Changing up the lineup and LeBron remembering he was the best player. And then, I mean, the game before he was 19, 15, 9, and 3.
33 points is a big difference. He was
Kate Fagan, how about you?
Beginning.
Yeah, the Cavs were plus 31 when LeBron was on the court. But I give the Cavs the advantage going forward because of this. Games 3 through 7, there's only 1 day rest between those games. Derrick Rose does not play well with 1 day rest. I just can't see him being efficient for the rest of this series.
Right. The statistics just fall off the table with shooting percentage. But you brought up LeBron's plus minus. He was minus in Game 1. He was plus in Game 2. What changed, Woody Page?
Well, I don't think he remembered, Kevin. I think he was informed by Kyrie Irving. Hey, you've got to be more aggressive. You've got to beat LeBron James. And that's exactly what he went out. He was last night. But I think in regard to Derrick Rose, I want to bring this up. I think he should be rested during this series. He shouldn't be playing every game. He shouldn't have played last night. You'd already captured the one game.
So you're going to sit out a healthy player. I mean, by all accounts, he's healthy right now. Like the
numbers
Clippers
go
set out
down
Chris
when he has
Paul
no
last
rest.
night.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to use him judiciously.
Let me gauge the reaction of, because Bomani's eyes were just blinking like this, Snuffleupagus style. When you said that, Bomani, the idea that you would just sit Derrick Rose?
If they would have benched Derrick Rose for Game 2, they would have fired Thibodeau before Game 3. His tenure was enough as is, taking out your best player. Like, I understand the argument, but he's got to play. There's no way around that. Now, as it relates to LeBron, that 33 points is on 29 shots. That's not particularly efficient. That's not especially what you want from LeBron. But I think after Game 1, he looked around at the dudes that he was playing with and realized, hey, these aren't really dudes I can trust to give the ball to score points. It's either going to be me and Kyrie, and the two of them still are at a point where they run a relay race on the floor as opposed to looking like they're in sync.
Blackstone back in.
John Wall, Chris Paul, Paul Wall, for all I know. You know what? Those guys are resting because of injury and because they think that their teams are better off with them being as healthy as possible.
You can't be sitting guy in the playoffs as he's healthy, Woody Page. Really?
He's not healthy. He's not totally healthy.
All right.
Gosh.
All right. We're up in Horn. We're taking a break right there. Fire cells next, and then later.
I didn't imagine a home run and first at bat. I just wanted to hit. I think I'm the happiest father in this world right now. Anybody who has the video, please send it back to me.
All right. This was my favorite video of the show.
Geico presents Strange Saving Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Buy or sell.
Stone 17, Stone is big at 13, page 11. Let's start with the phone call the WNBA put into the AP yesterday to tell them they were reviewing the Liberty's hiring of Isiah Thomas. This, while the league considers how to handle the Brittany Griner-Glory Johnson domestic disputes. Woody, how should the league address each of those issues?
In regard to Isiah Thomas and the idiocy of James Dolan to actually hire him as president after he left the Knicks in the shape they're still in, and because of the hostile environment that he was found guilty of when he was there, the Board of Governors should overrule him. Isiah should take the high road here and say, I'm not taking the job. In regard to the other domestic abuse case, on both sides, I think we should let the judgment, not rush to judgment, let the judgment play out in the court of law, let the WNBA consider the strong circumstances here and wait until it makes a decision on an important issue.
The WNBA cannot let Isiah Thomas assume that position. If they ask why he can't, the answer is because you can't. We don't have to explain this. It's pretty self-evident. Now, the situation with Brittany Griner, I encourage the WNBA to take all the time they need. What they do will basically establish the paradigm of how these situations go down the line, because it's not guaranteed that this is the last one, even as particular as this is. They need to have a plan for what to do when something like this happens.
But this is their biggest star. Kevin Blackistone?
Well, the other two things about Isiah Thomas is that, he's back on television. He got his master's in education from Cal Berkeley a couple years ago. Ran into him last year. He seems to have resurrected his image after paying his penance for what happened in New York. He should have hung up the phone on this call from New York. And the other thing is, I'm always concerned with the WNBA continuing to give leadership position jobs to men rather than to women. And as far as the Griner situation is concerned, let's let the courts take care of that.
Kate Fagan.
The Isiah thing should be simple, right? A jury found Isiah guilty of creating a hostile work environment, regardless of the narrative over the last 24 hours. So he should not be approved by the WNBA's Board of Governors, but I think this is going to be trickier than you think because Dolan holds a lot of cards. Now, as for the Brittany Griner thing, the WNBA doesn't have a ton of time here. Training camp opens on May 17th. They are going to have a punishment in next week. And Griner has already taken a plea deal, so there will not be a court of law here. They have interviewed everybody, and they are going to get this right because they know they're setting precedent. They know with gender and sexuality at play in these domestic disputes, they want to set a precedent.
So you're reporting that a ruling will be made by the WNBA as far as suspension or some type of punishment within the week?
Yes, within a week.
All right, we'll move on. We'll talk now what was on the Cavs' big screen last night at the arena. This played out in a stop in the action. Much criticism today. Here it is, a Dirty Dancing parody. More precisely, a parody of a parody. The female shows her bull shirt and gets thrown across the room. In a statement today, the team apologized, said it was intended to be a humorous spoof, a mistake to include content that made light of domestic violence. Quote, we sincerely apologize to those who have been affected by domestic violence for the obvious negative feelings caused by being exposed to this insensitive video. End quote. Bomani, care to comment?
Nothing brings out the stupidity like the futile pursuit of silly laughs. And that's basically what this was. There's no defending this one. There's no way in this time that you can look at that and think, wow, this is probably a good idea for us to get some laughs at the arena. It seems like too many men in one room without enough people to give them an alternate perspective that their silly sense of humor is probably not meant for public consumption.
Yeah, this is why you need sensitivity training in corporate America. This is precisely the reason. And this wasn't even a parody of a parody. This was a woman being thrown to the ground on purpose and coerced into making a decision. That what they thought they were parodying was absolutely an accident, not on purpose.
Vegas?
Please.
I can almost hear people out there saying, this is just a joke. Can't we joke anymore in this country? But to steal a line from Ellen, if you want to joke properly, everybody should be laughing. Okay, that's not the case here. There's a lot of things that are funny. There's a narrow path that's not funny. Stay on the wide path.
Woody Page?
Very simply, in poor taste, unacceptable. I'm glad they apologized. I hope they don't create another situation that's anywhere similar to this. All points well taken by everybody else.
The Cavs, it has also come out, have canceled the planned giveaway where they were going to give fans arm slings in support of Kevin Love. In theory, KB, do you buy or sell that?
I buy it because if you're going to show your love for Kevin Love, why not make a big love card for him or something like that? Don't hand out slings.
Kate?
That's silly.
Oh, I sell it. I don't even think Kevin Love thinks of himself as this guy who walks around in a sling. Put out T-shirts that say "We love love." Anything other than
Woody?
this.
Yes, well, I think there should not be slings and arrows in Cleveland. They need to learn their lessons and move on. He's not coming back anyway. I don't care what you hold up, cards, slings, whatever it might be.
Well, you got to sell it. Speaking functionally, you got to sell it because speaking functionally, it's not even a good way for you to cheer on your team. So we got a bunch of one-armed fans with their arms in a sling and pumping their fists with the other one. That's ridiculous.
That is a good point, Bomani Jones. Now, what do you do with 20,000 slings? Donate them to a hospital, please. Not a lot of scoring in that segment, Woody Page. But now we say goodbye. What's the last word?
Yeah, I felt like I didn't have any points to buy or sell.
You made some great points.
I'm glad I'm not too
Appreciate you. Jones, Black, and Fagan, that's our lightning round. And coming up, we might not have a hockey series go longer than 5 games in this round, but doesn't mean it's been bad.
ESPN Radio.
With the action on the court, the diamond, or the gridiron.
Comes alive.
The NBA.
The San Antonio Spurs are the world champions.
Major League Baseball.
San Francisco Giants are the champions of the baseball world.
A new college football playoff.
College football playoff national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Your home for the best in sports play-by-play.
ESPN Radio.
Jones 17, Stone and Fagan 13. You guys have to be lightning quick in the lightning round. Let's go. Rangers Caps, all they do is play 1-goal games. Hope's been a brick wall. Lightning Canadiens, all they did was score an even later goal than the one Washington had this round. Tyler Johnson, 1.1 left. Which team is catching your eye, Bomani, Lightning or Caps?
I'm looking at the Lightning. Look, they're the best offensive team in the league during the regular season, and now in this postseason, they've given up 6 goals in the last 5 games. That's kind of what you want to be, right?
Flagstone?
Washington, D.C., come on, it's the Caps. It's been 20 years since they've even gotten past the this round in the playoffs. This is where they always cough it up.
Ooh.
Yeah, since they went to the Stanley Cup that one time.
Okay, Fagan.
There's still time.
I'm on the Lightning bandwagon here. They're winning games they're not even playing well in. That's the kind of magic you need when you try to win the Stanley Cup.
That's true on this show as well. Sometimes we have a showdown winner who wasn't even playing well all show, but they get the face back. Not all good for Washington, KB. Lightning 2, the 5 fractures doctors found in John Wall's wrist and hand today. They don't play again until Saturday, KB. Knowing this, you say what?
Well, they haven't ruled him out yet. That's what we know. They have not ruled him out yet. John Havlicek once played with a broken. John Havlicek played with a broken hand. Things can happen. Maybe he can heal up. This isn't good.
This isn't good. Fagan?
Oh, John Wall is done. He cannot play with those broken bones, all right? He can't catch, he can't shoot, he can't do anything. Ramon Sessions, it's your time.
Jones?
It's a wrap, bro. His hands look like somebody blew up a rubber glove, and there's just fingers at the end. It's just all pumped up there. That ain't the sort of thing that gets fixed by Saturday, not through legal means.
Well, Flagstone, without Wall, what happens to your Wizards?
Hey, look, this is still Hockey Town, USA.
Tell the truth.
Not good.
All right, Fagan, wave goodbye. We'll say peace out. Fagan, Jones, and Blackstone are getting the showdown next. And straight ahead, Legends of the Falls. Whoops. I don't know so much about that one. Looks familiar to me. It's showdown. It's Jones and Blackstone and see you, Shaq, accidentally falling on the set. Boateng and Rivers yesterday also eating it at inopportune moments. Which fall will you remember most, Bomani?
Look, falling is always funny. Got to go with Austin Rivers literally falling on his face. When you literally fall on your face in the process of trying to do a hot sauce move and losing a playoff game,
you gotta go with Shaq. You gotta go with Shaq. That's the one everybody's talking about. It didn't even happen during a game, and whether it was staged or not, come on, Tony. Dick Van Dyke falling. That's funny stuff.
People like falling. I get it. Yeah.
Falling.
But you do acknowledge it could have been staged. Okay.
Could have been. It was on a stage, so yeah.
Good point. Two incredible rookie moments then to talk about to kind of end this showdown with. You're going to have to choose between them. The home run and the first pitch of your first career at bat with your family watching and recording video that probably didn't keep the ball on the shot the whole way. It was Eddie Rosario Jr.'s moment, the Twins, or the night before, the walk-off home run in your first career game, Carlos Perez's moment for the Angels. KB, which one does it for you?
Oh, it's got to be the first one with this kid Rosario. Your first at bat, and you go yard, and your family is there to record it. All of those cameras ready to go. You know they got some good film. Who knows? Maybe one of those.
No, you got to go with Carlos Perez. It's not about how you start. The level of perseverance it took for him to make it all the way to the end of his first game, and then he led him to glory. There's a metaphor in there.
Might be a metaphor, but I'm going with the family. The moment was best for mom and dad. I don't think they have good video on their phones, though. Although they're all panoramic, which I appreciate. Take the FaceTime.
Just want to give a shout out to Jimmy Butler, the Chicago Bulls, who today was named the most improved player in the league. If you do not know his story, read about his story. Father abandoned the family. Mother kicked him out of the house. He got basically adopted, wound up at Tyler Junior College, got to Marquette, got drafted into the NBA, and now is sitting almost on top of the world. What a story of inspiration and dedication. Just amazing. Man, way to go, Jimmy.
Back-to-back wins for Stone. That's going to do it. See you tomorrow.
Keep it count.
Two of baseball's best go head-to-head in interleague action when the Tigers head to St. Louis to face the Cardinals.
That one is gone.
The pregame at 7 Eastern, first pitch at 8, Sunday on ESPN and ESPN Radio.